here we are again, another episode of the Ghost Stories. Stuff that happened to me at work in the past 20 plus years, 21 years. And if you want to know any history about the place, you have to watch the intro, the first episode of this. It tells you everything about the place and stuff. So, well, let me get back to the stories here. April 18th. I wasn't sleeping, just sitting there, and I heard a faint bang, like someone hitting something. And then I didn't do anything. I just was okay, fine. And about 45 seconds later, I heard it again. It was a little louder. Then another, about a minute later, I heard it even louder. It kept banging, like something was trying to get my attention to start, griping about something. But I didn't, and it stopped, and it didn't happen again. There's some of these things that happen. Sometimes they happen within a week, within days. I mean, sometimes you'll go months without anything happening, weeks and months without something happening. But for the most part, it's it's hit and miss. It depends on what. Yeah, I don't know. It depends. I don't know. I can't get it. But I have noticed that in certain areas of the warehouse of this place are more active than others, and I'll hear more noises and see more things, or hear about more things in that area from people that work here also. This is April 25th. Again, it's like 6-7 days later. At 9:53 a.m. I was on my machine working. I smelled cigarette smoke. It was real quick. You know the smell of smoke when you smell it. It was very fast and gone. Nobody was smoking. I remember that day. It was like real quick. You inhale, you breathe in smoke, and it was like you smelled it, and then it just stopped. You don't know why. Real quick. But you do know cigarette smoke if you're not around it in an area. So there you go. May 30th, 2012. I was in my room laying down, and my fan, I've had this fan for about 3 years, and it was making a weird sound. It was like speeding up and slowing down for some stupid reason, and never ever did that before. Well, I was like, let me move it around, so I moved it. And when I moved it, I just, laid back down, and I got the smell of crap. I didn't crap myself. I didn't fart. I didn't do nothing like that. I smelled crap. Like somebody went to the bathroom and didn't clean up after themselves and came into my room. I don't know where it came from, but it lasted about a minute, and it was gone. I didn't do anything. June 3rd, 2012. I was sleeping and I woke up and it looked like I seen something standing 4 feet from me. I didn't feel threatened. I just said, "How you doing?" It moved backward and faded away. I don't know if I was half asleep, but I've seen something like a figure. And I remember that I was sitting there and I woke up, and I didn't feel threatened at all. It was like, even if you're in your room and you see something, you get freaked out. But I don't know why I wasn't. I was I seen something, and it just faded. I can't explain it. Maybe I was half asleep. I don't know. When I see things, I don't know. That I seen. And I was, awake enough to say something. Hey, how you doing? June 18th, 2012. It was 5 a.m. I went into my room to get something, and I heard like a loud bang. I mean, if I can make that sound of what I heard, hold on. I mean, it was that loud, and it sounded like it was in between me and the break room. I thought it was a truck driver came in because I had the front door unlocked. I unlock it at a certain time, so I'm pretty sure I had it unlocked because, I can't remember what time I had it unlocked. But anyways, I got up and I went out and I looked around, thought it was a truck driver wandering around. Maybe he tapped on something, hit something. Nothing. Couldn't find nothing. I don't know. But I think I did. No, but I think I do open it up at 6 o'clock or something. June 22nd, 2012. We had somebody who worked here, Tracy. She was out. She ran a machine behind me for a couple years. Machine number 2, the one we used to see stuff around all the time. You know, the dark figures I mentioned in the early episodes. But she was outside here, and we have trailers backed in back there, and it was in the daylight. She was out there smoking a cigarette. She was the only one out there, and she heard like somebody pounded their fist against the side of the truck. And actually, I don't think this is the first time this has happened. And she thought it was me messing with her, but she went outside the truck and looked around. There was nobody there. July 16th, 2012. I was laying in my bed in my room, and I smelled something burning. And it was wood. It wasn't electrical. It smelled like a fire was burning in my room, or it just had a faint smell of something burning. So I was like, well, let me get up and check out and see what's going on. I walked outside my room. I didn't smell it out there. I walked around, you know, didn't smell anything anywhere else. And I just went back in my room, and it was gone. There was no more smelling of smoke, burning, nothing. I think this is the first time I've actually heard like voices. August 17th, 2012. I remember I was in my room again. It was late at night, and I heard somebody. It was a male voice outside my room, not very far. It was out there. I heard him say like 4 words. I couldn't remember. It just, you heard 4 words. They were mumbled. They were muffled. They were through a wall. And I sat there for a minute, and then it sounded like it was in a storage room, like, hey. It wasn't threatening. It was like, hey, how you doing, kind of thing. And I went out, and I looked around. There was nobody there. I looked in the storage room. There was nobody there. Yeah, I remember this. August 25th, 2012. This garage door right here. The dumpsters are right outside the door. I was working on the door. I can't remember what I was doing, but I think I was tightening up one of the hinges, and I heard some rumbling sounds down there in that area, and just some rumbling sounds. So I sat there and finished up where I was working on it. I went down on my machine. It was about, you know, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. I went down on my machine, sat down on my stand for a few minutes, and just sitting there drinking my coffee, and I heard 4 knocks on a stack of pallets. So we have stacks of pallets here, and it was like 4 distinct loud knocks on pallets, and nothing. I seen nothing. I didn't, you know, I couldn't find anything. Didn't know where it was coming from. August 12th, 2012. Tracy was running her machine behind me, and she stopped, and she told me she seen a dark figure out the left side of her eye on the wall 3 times that day. She knows she did. I asked if she wanted me to put a camera up and record it, but it wasn't necessary, so I didn't. I asked the next day if she'd seen any figures anymore. She said no. But it was, I guess, and that was the same machine that I seen stuff around, like out of my eye over there, and the person running 3 would, I mean, she's aimed at that machine, and she would see things like get down off that machine, off the stand or something, like hop down. Weird. August 19th, 2012. I was on my machine. I'm working. You know, I'm labeling. I'm just sitting there working away, and I seen a flash. I mean, it was like, I mean, my eyes are down here, but I've seen a flash up here. It was like twice, real quick. Like once, and I looked up, and there was nothing there. And then there was, again, I seen a flash. And I didn't know what that, you know, I didn't know what it was. And then all of a sudden, I smelled cigarette smoke real quick. I think I was walking back down, and I smelled it, and it came just as fast as it went. Cigarette smoke, like real quick, like one breath. And I stopped, and I backed up. I wanted to see if I could smell it in that area again. No, it was gone. Couldn't explain it. Nobody's smoking. Can't smoke in the building. November 9th, 2012. Remember I was getting machines down off, or I was getting labels down off my machine, and Tracy was running machine number 2 behind me again. And she said she smelled cigarette smoke, and she'd been smelling it for about 10 minutes now. So I went up, and she asked me to come up there and smell it. So I walked up on her machine, and I tried to smell it. I couldn't smell it. There was nothing there. And she says she smells it on her machine. So I walked down, went back to working. When break time was called, I walked by her machine. That's when I smelled it. Nobody's smoking. I don't know. October 18th. The last story I told you was October 9th. I'm pretty sure it was October 9th. Yeah, it was October 9th. Tracy was telling me about cigarette smoke. This is October 18th of 2012. You had somebody at work that swore they heard her calling her name 3 times. She kept looking around, and there was nothing. And I don't know if it was a female or male. She didn't explain if it was or not, but she heard her name distinctly 3 times, someone calling her. And then she went to the girl's bathroom. She said she went into the last stall and went to the bathroom, came out, and she smelled BO, like it was a man was in there with her. Nobody came in the bathroom when she was in the stall, but when she came out, she smelled a man, like cologne. She knows the guy's smell. And she looked in the other stall. There was 2 stalls. She looked into one. There was nobody in there. Nobody came in. Nobody was there when she using the bathroom, and then she just smelled it. She couldn't explain it. I don't know. It was weird. Then October 19th, the next day, I was walking behind my pallets. You know, we have the pallets we put the bundles on. I walked behind my pallets. I smelled something burning. Real quick. I stopped. I backed up. Try to get the smell again. It was gone. Just that fast. No, October 31st, 2012. I was laying in my bed. I was wide awake. It was 2:11 a.m. I heard a loud rumbling. It sounded like thunder, but it went on for almost 10 seconds, like rolling thunder, but there wasn't any thunderstorms in the area. I thought it might be a truck going over the railroad tracks, but I didn't hear a truck. It wouldn't last, and it wouldn't last that long. Later on that morning, I was sleeping. I woke up to someone calling my name. I remember something calling it twice. It sounded like it was outside through the wall. I have a wall, a block wall. It sounded like it was like through the wall. It wasn't nobody was supposed to come in for a couple hours. November 6, 2012. I remember this. It was I have it written here, 3:53 a.m. I was laying with my back toward the rest of the room. Something was in my room. I woke up, something was like poking me, like through the blankets. Something was trying to get my attention or something. I was like, well, maybe a mouse got in and it's jumping around in that spot. So what I did, I hurry up, and I was wide awake. I was like, am I feeling this? I know I'm feeling this. And I sat there, and so I hurry up and threw the blankets over to catch whatever it was. When I opened up the blankets, there was nothing there. I don't know what it was. It's scary though. It scared the hell out of me, actually. November 14th, 2012. I remember I was watching TV in my room, and the morning news, and I have a converter box up there, and it's set up to turn off after 4 hours to conserve energy. You can set it up to turn off after 2 or 4 hours. I had it set up for 4. And I says, well, let me go out and get some stuff done. And it was around 5 o'clock. I come out, and like 45 minutes later, I come back in. The box was turned off, and it was only at 45 minutes. And when I turned it back on, it was 4 channels away from when I had it when I was originally watching it. I didn't, my room's locked. Nobody got in there to change it. Whatever, it changed it and turned it off. Turned it, it just, I can't explain it. No, later that day, I had a phone call from, I got a phone call from my son's school. I had to go pick him up. And I picked him up, and the next day, Tracy was running her machine. She said she smelled cigarette smoke really, really strong. She says it was the strongest she's ever smelled it before. And then, I don't know how long it lasted, but she told me she smelled it after I left. November 15th, we had one of the girls were walking back from the front, and she said she heard a low growl up there by the offices, and she didn't know what it was. So she started walking back. She heard it again, and she's looking around. She didn't find anything. She couldn't. Nobody was beside her. Nobody, it wasn't her stomach growling or anything like that. But I guess it kind of scared her, so she stayed like close to the bundles. It kind of freaked her out. You heard a growl. Didn't know what it was. I got something wrote down here. I totally forgot about. The very next day, it was 12:50 a.m. I was laying in my bed and I was awake, and I heard a low growl too. And it says 12:50 a.m. I was laying in my bed and I was awake and I heard a low growl. It reminded me of what she told me what happened to her the day before. It sounded like it could have been my stomach, but it was over by the computer desk in my room, like a breath growl or a sigh or something. I looked around and found nothing. December 21st. It was a while I was working. I kept on smelling cigarette smoke off and on for 20 minutes or so. Then right at the end of the day, Tracy said she smelled the same smoke right before she got a label caught in her glue machine. So, you know, that was weird. You know, was something tormenting her? Or, you know, just up there, and all of a sudden messed her label up, tore down on her machine. January 16th, 2013. Hey, the first time of the year. I got into a big argument with some idiot that worked here, trying to blame me for something I didn't do. And I'm not going to go into what was about, but to this day I'm still waiting for an apology from that person for getting me blamed for something that they did, and it still hasn't happened. But for the most part of the day, for an hour and a half, not the most part of the day, but for an hour and a half, I smelled cigarette smoke on my machine and off my machine. For an hour and a half after that, a little argument I had with that guy. January 22nd, 2013. I was using the table saw by my machine. I was cutting some wood, and I distinctly heard somebody say, "That's loud." That it was in the morning before everybody got here. I heard somebody say, "That's loud." And I looked out on the floor. I didn't see anybody. And I remember I heard somebody say, "That's loud." Well, that about sums it up for now. I'll continue the stories tomorrow and give you another episode. So you take care, and I keep my eyes open.